My name is Margot Rothstein. I have created a project for Math 120, which applies math to the real world. Students will navigate through Google Classroom via these tabs up here at the top, and my student to instructor interaction will involve using the email feature on Google Classroom as well as the announcement feature in the front.
My learner to learner interaction will be two situations in which students will post something on Padlet pages and will write reflections and comments on each other's posts. And my learner to content interaction will involve them going to multiple sites online and choosing information for their research and choosing working with numbers that they find for real sites in real cities.
So here I am at the review project. There are 5 modules, the first of which is a quiz. So I click on the link, it brings me to the quiz, the students answer the quiz, and when they're done, the way I know how to check answers is by going to Flex Quiz where I created it, and I can go to Analyze. And once I go to Analyze, I can see the scores of all the tests, all the quizzes that have been done. So for module 2, I'm going to go here and click on the document that says Saving Up. I'm going to make a copy of it. This is all in the instructions. I'm just going through the actual doing of it. Margot Rothstein, Saving Up. Okay, now I have my own copy. It says, note, for any monetary values round to the nearest hundredth, because we're going to be dealing with money. You have a job in a city, go to Indeed.com, find the average annual salary. So I'm going to go to Indeed.com. I'm going, for my example, I'm going to say software engineer in Denver, Colorado. So it gives me the average annual salary here. So I'm going to type it in just the way it says to do so. Software engineer in Denver, Colorado, and the salary. Now I have to divide this by 12 to find the monthly salary. So I'm going to do that. Round to the nearest hundredth. Now go to Zillow.com. It gives you a series of filters to use in the instructions. So going to Zillow.com and typing in my place. And I'm going to use the first one that pops up, 375,000. Oh. And now I have to find 20% of that to find the down payment. Now, through this question and it says that I have a savings of $1,450 and I want to use all of my salary every month to save up for the down payment. So I need to write an equation that expresses that. So I'm going to say, this is what I want to get to. My down payment is the $75,000. The amount that I have for my salary and per every month plus what I have in my savings. The first step, what is the first step? Subtract 1450. What does the equation look like after you do that? The second step is to divide. And I have to do that calculation. Okay. So I get 8.8 for this. Fill in the statement below to explain the equation. So the statement says, if I use all of my salary every month, then it will take me blank months to afford the down payment. So I already figured this out and I just need to place my answer in this statement. Module 3, cost of living. So in reality, you cannot use all of your salary every month. So go to Numbeo.com and find the cost of living. I'm going to go to Numbeo.com, type in my city, Denver, Colorado. Cost of living. Okay. And I'm looking for this statement. This says it in the instructions. A single person estimated monthly cost without rent, 992. I'm going to place that in. Now I have to go to property taxes and do the same thing. Property taxes. Property prices, I'm sorry, not taxes. So I'm looking for rent per month, apartment, 1 bedroom, either in or out of city center. I'm going to choose in city center. Place that in there. Now I have to add these two values together. Now I'm going to take my monthly salary and subtract the amount that I found for monthly costs and rent. And find 30% of that, which is going to go towards my house every month. So take this amount. Finding 30% means multiplying it by 0.3, and the students are expected to know that. And then I get my amount, round to the nearest hundredth. Writing the new equation with my new amount. So this is the amount that I'm saving every month now from the house, X per month. And then this is how much I already have saved, the $14.50 from before. So we're gonna go through the same process. So the first part of solving this is to subtract the $14.50, and then what does the equation look like? When I do that, it's gonna look like it did before because that part hasn't changed. And then the next step, divide by the new number. And what does the equation look like when I do that? You get 43.6. And now this is another fill in the statement. If I use 30% of the difference between my monthly salary and monthly costs, it will take blank amount of months. So I have to fill in my number that I found there. Module 4, you decide to have an Airbnb. So go to Airbnb and you're going to choose a week. So how much does it cost to spend a week in your city in an Airbnb? So Denver, Colorado. I'm going to choose some 7-day window. So I'm going to choose the following 7-day window and choose 1 adult. So right here it says $375 to stay in a place in Denver, Colorado for 1 adult. So it says this is going to be the amount that you charge for your Airbnb. This is the amount I charge for my Airbnb. Now I'm going to go to the Padlet page that I've created here for the students. This is a map, and you're supposed to go to your city, type in your name and the amount that you have charged for your Airbnb. So I already have some drop pins in here. I'm going to demonstrate how I want this to happen. So Denver, Colorado, type in my name and the amount that I am charging for my Airbnb. So now I have to choose a city to vacation in. So I'm going to choose a city from another classmate. So if I go to the map, I see that there is a spot on Burlington, Vermont. So the next instruction is to go to this website where I can find the cheapest flight from my city, Denver, to the city I chose, Burlington, for the 7-day window that I chose. So I'm going to choose the cheapest flight that comes up, which is 838 here. So I have 838 plugged in there. The next part is to go to budget my trip and find my place. Burlington, Vermont. They ask for two things, the cost of food and the cost of local transportation. So the cost of food for one day is 22. So I'm going to go here, put in 22, and we're going to multiply this by 7 for the 7 full days that I'm going to be on trip. Now the next thing is local transit. So that's $77. Put it in there. And I'm going to do those calculations. And then I have to add all of this stuff together. So I have to add together the cost of the Airbnb, the cost of food, the cost of local transit, and the cost of the trip, the plane ride. So I have to add all that together now. Okay, and then I want to put 8% aside of the remaining money after paying for monthly costs and paying for the house. So I have to figure out how much money is left after paying for the house and monthly costs. So I'm going to take the amount after paying for monthly costs and subtract the amount for paying for the house. And what is that? Okay, and now finding 8% of that, I'm going to take this find 8%. Okay, so I already am putting $50 towards the trip. So I need to write my new equation for how many months it's going to take me to get to the trip. So this is the amount of money I'm saving for the trip each month, and I already have $50 saved for it. And I go through the same process as I did before. What's the first and second? What are the first and second steps for solving this equation? So I have to go through the same process like I did before. This is the same kind of thing. So subtract 50, divide by the 314.73. Oh, and get 6.4. Okay. Now I actually have to write the if-then statement here using conditional and everything else. So I have to actually write it this time. It's not a fill-in. So my thing is going to be if I use 8% of the remaining money after paying for monthly costs and the house, then it will take, and the 6.4 months to save up for the trip. 5, what do you want to save up for? The students will go to another Padlet page and post what they want to save up for, how much it costs, and how much time it'll take for them to get there. And they're going to go through the same process that I've been showing you this whole time. So they're going to go to this Padlet page, which is a timeline. I've already put in an example. So my example is I want to go to Paris, France. My trip is going to cost about $3,000. It's going to take me 9.6 months to save up for it based on my calculations. And they're going to reflect on this project. They're going to share their thoughts about how this project will help them. So this project made me think about how long it will take me to reach my goal. I analyzed my decisions in a way that set them in reality them to do. And I also want the students to comment on someone else's post about their thoughts about how their students' post, their classmates' post help them think about something they didn't think about before. I was challenged by how to figure out learner-to-learner interaction and a very clear assessment strategy since this math is being done online, not in person on a piece of paper.